Thank you for tuning in to As It Lays. Today's subject is Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
We'll just get started with the questions then. Did you have a childhood comfort object?
I was thinking about opening up a, because when I used to live near the Magic Castle, there was a Comfort Inn. And I thought when I was a kid, I used to make forts. Then if you made a Comfort Inn, I think it would be like a very popular, you know, if you want to do like a venture capital thing. So as a kid, I think making forts and hiding in them, not yet, you know, the parlance, the word cum, which is always kind of odd for me. I don't know if you spell it with C-U-M or C-O-M-E. Either way, I don't really like to use the word. I like to say making wet in you.
What would be the title of your memoir?
Okay, well, if the memoir is post me being alive, I wouldn't care because I'd be dead, so it wouldn't matter. I just want to make sure that I'm alive, intact for the apocalypse, so I come back as a zombie. So it would be, my memoir would be, wait till the apocalypse because I'm going to eat your face off, you cocksucking everyone, etc. etc. I just want to do it double in case I forget the first ellipsis and the first etc.
Do you have a usual drink order when you go to a bar?
I don't go to bars mostly, but no, I bring my own alcohol. I usually smuggle it in my back pocket in a flask, or I hide it in my stomach.
Who is your style icon?
Style icon, I would say, I wouldn't try to act fancy enough to act, to pretend as if I was always hip enough to know someone such as, you know, Garth Brooks or Justin Bieber, or I would say Salvador Dali is always my favorite in everything because he embodied art, and he made facial hair really work, because I feel like facial hair it's very obstructive sometimes. I mean, it worked for the Village People, it worked for cops, it worked for Hitler, it worked for Charlie Chaplin, it worked for Amish people when it was just here. It worked for Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know, but mostly for me, I think it sucks to have facial hair. So I would say Salvador Dali was the one person, because he used the prunes to pinch the tips of his mustache, and flies would often gather on it, which I thought was very amusing. Also Stalin was kind of aggressive, but it did work for him, I guess, in some way. Communism, big ups to them, they got a lot done. I don't really care, I don't know isms.
Are you a superstitious person?
Superstition is an odd word now that I think about it, because what if it was just like a regular stition, or like an amateur? It's like, you know, like if you're pro-life, what if you're just amateur life? Or so superstitious. I'm afraid of a couple things. Well, I once learned a few lessons. This was a lesson taught to me by, I think Ice-T brought this up in a conversation. Not the drink, but the rapper, or Law and Order guy. He said that black people were afraid of skeletons and fireworks. And he said that white people were afraid of black people. So that was a superstition legend right there that I learned. But I think that I'm mostly afraid of, I guess mostly afraid of when you fall asleep after having sex, if women are staring at you. I just don't want to wake up to someone staring at me. It makes me nervous. That's why I usually kill them, or don't have them stay over, or don't have sex with them. That gives me a carefree life, a very capricious life.
Did you ever get sent to the principal's office?
Yes, I did. several times. I was paddled once. They did have corporal punishment in Canton, Ohio. I was paddled because I made a magazine called Stupid. It was my attempt to be like mad or cracked, you know. It was juvenile, sort of Alfred E. Newman. I'm not saying you look like him, more of a Griffin Dunn, but there was that was the first time, and I only got like one whack on the ass. Don't get any ideas when I say that. I know that's very provocative language, but the second time I got sent to the principal's office was because I broke into my grandfather, who's now dead, but he's not actually my grandfather. I found out later. It's a very long story, many threads. I stole a used, quite greased up, I believe with Vaseline was the preferred lubricant of the 70s and 80s. Dildo. It was black, suction cup on the bottom, so you could just wherever, you know, kitchen table, boom, you know, desk, whatever. So I put it in the Bible teacher's desk, of course, because we were learning about the Bible, Sodom and Gomorrah. I was trying to share, show and tell. Put in the desk. I sent to the office. They said, "Did you do it?" I said, "Yes, of course I did." And then I was banished from Christian school, was sent to public school where I was beaten often.
What do you like to do to pass time on a long flight?
I usually sleep. Right before the flight, I like to get shit hammered, is the modern vernacular I think that they use in this region. I did learn a very valuable lesson when I was traveling home from Estonia a few years ago, right before Christmas. I didn't believe the country existed because I had never heard of it, because I didn't really do well in history or geography. I just was bored with it. At the time, you know, this is back in the dicks in the desk time, and getting me up. So I was in Estonia, and it was December 23rd, I believe. And we'd barely gotten on the flight, and then I found out that you can't say golden dick on an airplane, because a bandmate of mine was behind me kicking the seat. He was saying, "This is the man with the golden dick, it's the man with the golden dick." Of course, you know, I wouldn't say it's golden, you know, because it's like the Midas touch, and I've never even met that guy. But these ladies were mad because I was drunk, of course. That's what you do. And I mistakenly said really loud to a gentleman who was eating food that I wanted to have at the time to soak up the alcohol so I could be a proper flight participant. And I said, "I'm going to set you on fire." I guess it's not good to set on a plane. But they didn't hear that, so these women had gathered in the little woman corridor of the plane where the stewardesses and or men that act like women. And I said, "I'm really sorry, it's Christmas time, the spirit of Christmas. Let's just forego the fact that I said I'm going to set him on fire." I said, "No, sir, it's not your fault. Your friend said golden dick. It's never appropriate to say golden dick on an airplane." And the other lady who looked like Sarah Palin goes, "No, it's never appropriate." And the other lady, "Never, you can't say golden dick." I said, "Excuse me, I don't mean to be a troublemaker, but you just said golden dick 3 times in a row." And therefore, I got us off the plane. It was a narrow escape, but we got back to America. And I still don't believe Estonia exists, so sorry, Estonia. Golden dick.
What is your favorite cult film?
The Jim Jones Massacre. Was that filmed?
Do you believe in love at first sight?
I believe in hate at first sight, because that's more often than not. I fall in love with everything. I hate everything also. It's very difficult to be a misanthrope and a romantic. So I love everything. I love what's like when people say, "Are you an addict?" I'm addicted to enjoying things. I'm addicted to, well, I'm allergic to a couple things also. I should inform you, I'm allergic to breasts. I break out in erections. I'm addicted to enjoying pretty much everything.
What political issue do you consider most while voting?
I voted for the first time in this last election because I thought it would be interesting to find out if I could. I've never voted before because I don't have a valid driver's license, which I shouldn't. But I walked in and they didn't, it was like in I believe it was a Days Inn or something like that. And these pinch-faced witches, they just pointed me in the direction, and I just started stabbing all the cards, you know, just whichever manner. My two main things were to just get the black dude involved and also the gay marriages. And mostly because I wanted to be able to answer this question now. I was looking in the future and I saw in my crystal ball that you would ask me that, and I thought, oh, well, here will be my answer. Gay marriages, boom. Black guy, boom. I did it. I'm responsible. And if you get a gay black guy to marry you, it's my fault.
Have you ever thought about going vegan?
Like having sex with a vegan girl, I tried to, but I didn't like it because she complained. She's like, what's in your semen?
Has a TV commercial ever inspired you to pick up the phone and donate to a charity?
No, in fact, I have in my will, if I die and I don't have any living relatives and or the person that I've made the mistake of having as a spouse isn't alive, that my shit should be burned. Not my shit, but my treasures will be burned before giving to charity. But I did once meet a girl named Charity at a strip bar, and I gave her $5, so I don't know if that's giving to charity, but it seems like it's you know, it's semantics.
What are your thoughts on Canada?
I prefer to call it Canada. But I don't know. I think that's the origin of cannibalism is from Canada. Cannibalism. Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick, what would be the theme of your next big birthday bash?
I'm going to go ahead and say, I think that if, you know, like Bathory, I think washing yourself in the blood of virgins, not menstruating necessarily, but that can work also from what I've heard. It's what I've read I've read it on Wikipedia. But I would think that it should be like, you know how they have those fountains of chocolate fondue? You just throw a couple of virgins through a chipper shredder, boom, everyone's treated, everyone's happy. And that type of thing.
Do you own a Kindle?
No, I don't.
Have you ever felt lost in translation?
I've been to the hotel that film was made inside of, and I don't think that, you know, I always pretend to know other languages. I have not ever learned another language. I learned American, British, Canadian, Australian. I know all those. I know a little bit of Mexican. Those are the ones that I know.
Do you consider yourself to be a sensitive person?
I pretend to have human emotions, and I'm getting really good at it.
If you could change one thing about your physical appearance, what would it be?
Not having such a big dick. It's really troublesome. Sometimes people just, oh, it's his big dick. You know, I'm not, you know, I just want people to love me for who I am, not just my dick.
Do you get seasick?
I do, actually. And it doesn't always have to be on a boat, but I do. I get motion sickness.
What do you want the world to know about Marilyn Manson?
Nothing. Ever.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for watching.
Thank you for the podcast, The Arrow.